Hey everybody, welcome back. Ted again. And in this lesson I'm going to show you how you attach CSS to an xhtml document. So what we're going to do is we have an xhtml document and we want to attach some styles to it. And I want to do that with an external style sheet. I'm going to show you how that works. Right now I've got Safari open and you can see in my browser this is just basic some HTML. This is our web page we're going to be dealing with. And as you can see, there are no styles attached to this page. It's the default font on here and default sizing on everything. So let's pop over here real quick and let me show you the directory structure that we're going to be dealing with here, okay? And this directory, or you could call it a folder, is just sitting on my desktop and it's got inside of it two files. The folder is called CSS_sample, and the two files that I have are index.html and styles.css. Now, here's how this works. I like to think of it like this. The index.html page, or this file right here, all this contains, I'll show it to you here, is HTML information, okay? So this is just your text and your markup. So you can think of it as kind of a skeleton. This is simply the framework of what the web page is, and that's of course what we're looking at when I come over here to the browser and you're just looking at the raw HTML. There's no visual styles attached to this. So what we're going to do here, let's pop back over here, is with this styles.css document, that's where the styles are going to live. That's where the instructions that tell the browser how to display the content on the page, that's where all that's going to go, okay? And I have that opened up here too, and right now it's just a blank document. But how do I get these two documents to talk to one another? Well, it's real easy. You're going to do this via the link tag. So what I'm going to do is go up in the header of my document, which is where this is going to go. I'll drop a line under title. Could be anywhere in the head, but I like to put it under the title. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and create a tag that says link. Okay? And this tag is self-closing, when there's never a closed end of it, so I'm going to go ahead and put the / in here to close that out. Now, we're going to need three attributes that go in here that give directions as to what we're linking to. The first one is going to be href, H-R-E-F, which kind of looks like, when you do a link, the href, and that's simply the location of the document, okay? So I'm going to say href equals, it's not only the location, it's also the title. So if we go back to the directory, you can see here that it's in the same directory and it's going to be just this document styles.css. So let's go back to the HTML. So my href is simply styles.css. And then we need two other items here. The first one is going to be type. We have to tell it what language we're feeding it, and it is a text document containing CSS, more or less. So we're going to use text/CSS for the type. And then finally I need to use the rel attribute, or the relationship attribute, and simply going to be style sheet. So there we go. There's our three attributes, the href, type, and rel. Now, there's no way, I'm going to save the document. Right now, we don't have any styles in here at all. So how do we know this is linked up? Well, we're not right now. So let's go ahead and write a couple styles here. We'll keep this simple. Let's make a dramatic change and everything. Let's go ahead and do one for the body tag. And I'm going to go ahead and use the body tag to govern all the typography here. So, because that would encompass everything. So let's say font family and colon, let's say Helvetica, comma Arial, comma sans serif. What that's going to tell it is look to see if Helvetica is on the user's computer. If it's not, display it with Arial, which I've misspelled here, sorry. And if that's not right, then we'll go with sans serif. And let's also set the font size. And let's go with 12 pixels. And I'm going to drop another line. Let's go ahead and say the color is going to be, let's use white. Let's go ahead and shift this opposite. And then consequently, I also want the background color to be black, because right now it is white, that's the default, and white text on a white background isn't going to show very much. So let's go ahead and save that. Let's pop over to the browser, and I'm going to refresh my screen, and lo and behold, there you go. All my styling is done, so I have successfully attached a style sheet. And I can go ahead and continue to make changes on this, make this look even better, add graphics, images, all those kinds of things. But one other thing I want to mention here is, and this is very important, if you're linking to a style sheet, okay, we're using the link tag. Now, it's very important on the href that it knows where the directory is. As my website might continue to grow, and I end up with, right now I only have one HTML page, but the whole idea of using this external style sheet is that you could link 50 HTML pages to one style sheet. And then when you have to change the font size or the color, all you have to do it in one place instead of the 50 HTML documents. So, you're looking at one change versus 50. I'll tell you what's less time consuming for me. But anyway, let's say maybe I want this to be in a different location. I want to create a new folder. called CSS, which I typically do on websites. Let's put the style sheet in the CSS folder. Okay. Now, if I go over now to my HTML page and refresh the screen again, Command R on the keyboard, or you can click this little arrow, you can see my styles went away. Well, it can't find them. That's why it can't link to them. Now, the kind of crazy thing about CSS here is it doesn't return any errors that you can see. It just doesn't work if something's not happening. So let's go back over to my HTML page for a second. And you can see here, right where I have the link for the attribute href, I need to put the folder name. Okay, let's go back to the Finder for a second. Remember, I created a folder called CSS. Inside that folder is styles.css. So I simply, file name hasn't changed, but I do need to put the folder name in front of it. So I'm going to say CSS/stylescss. Now what this says is, hey browser, you're going to look for a folder called CSS. Within that folder, that's what the slash means, inside that folder, you're going to look for a file called styles.css. And lo and behold, now we'll go back to the browser, refresh, found it again. So it's very important to remember, you gotta tell it where it is. So directory structure is very important, as is how you address it in this link tag here. So that's basically it for creating a link to your style sheet.